Here with Eugene. Eugene, do you watch the Happy Pill on YouTube?
Hell yeah.
Do you follow?
I do
follow. Do you hit the like button when you see videos that you like?
Always.
When you see something that like you think your friends could use, do you share those videos with your friends?
Absolutely.
Yo, be like Eugene. Like, share, subscribe.
You got to learn. So now you're like this, and you did everything exactly the same, and now you're here. And then what they do is you're trying to come in here, you're trying to make this turn, and he realizes you have the hand, but he doesn't pull it back. In the last couple of classes, he pulled back, and then we went into sequencing with this and grabbing on. But on this guy, he comes here, and he's like this, and you're trying to go, damn, this isn't going to work out because I can't get around this arm. So when you're here right now, we're going to start kicking out kneecaps, okay? I would love if you could, but sometimes it doesn't make a difference. He's not moving, and I'm like this, and this hand's swinging out in the wind, but he just faced on this. So I would love to take my same side leg and own this hip, and now take this leg and kick this kneecap out. You don't have to. You can step. The reason I'm going to this leg is I could potentially come in here and throw a triangle up, potentially, okay? But I'm gonna say no at this point. I'm just like this. So I'm gonna take my far side leg and kick this kneecap out. I'm gonna kick it out. Yep. Okay, so as I kick it out, this is the angle how it changes, okay? So I couldn't do anything about this because if I would have touched this, then I had to let go of this. Okay, so I have to start kicking the kneecaps out to change the angles. So for now, before we go back to the triangles, we're catching this. I'm just gonna ask you to kick out the far side leg. You gotta do this quickly, right? Because I do wanna break his U. He wants to return back to that U setting. So he wants this arm back. So I gotta understand, like, I gotta kick him out of this so he puts his hands down so that I can make a transfer also back there because I can't go anywhere with him stabilized on me. I'll lose him, right? So now I did everything exactly the same on the drill. I'm like this. And now just a reminder on this. This hand, when it peels, I should look like this. I should look palm up, thumb over the top. I'm pushing his hand in. He countered. Right? Because when I was like this, he did exactly like that. So right away, I take my foot out and I kick this kneecap out because I want to pitch him. His shoulders are squared. I want to pitch his at a 45 so I can get around this hand. So as I kick this thing out, this is where we are. Obviously, he's going to pull back. So my hand on the wrist, as he comes up, I come forward. So I am right back to where I was on the drag coming up. Okay, so we're going to do the same position, but we're going to do a counter on it, and we'll do 2 counters on it. Same exact thing, and then on the last one, we'll go back to some that we already did, where he pulls back and I S out and I come up. But all I had was this hand, and now I'm reading your reaction off of it. I'm not trying to impose anything. I don't know what you're going to do. Do you put your hand up? Do you sit back? Do you crowd my space? Do you bring this leg up? Do you crowd my space not to let this leg up? Or are you trying to beat me with a flow pad? I don't have no idea. All I did was own your hand, and now I'm looking at you. What are you going to do? Because we got to trade now. I'm not going to think that I could just dominate the position. I got to see your reaction so that I react next. Okay, so in this position, once you did everything right, and you got the hand like this, okay, he's going to give you the base on the far side shoulder because he wants to pull his arm back. He hasn't brought his legs up. Okay, so there's no attack of the legs at this point. I'm going to take my far side leg out and kick that kneecap out so that I beat the angle, get rid of the basing hand on the far side, and make the turn around the corner. Let's do it. And no gi, and meaning the triangle. And it's not, and when I talk about it, I mean like black to black, high level. In a wet situation, you just turn the arm over, and you're like this, and he's either got this base on this far side, and I'm like this, I'm sorry, like and he's got the base on the far side, and I'm holding on to this arm, and I'm having a hard time here, right? And I'm doing everything I can to get around here, and I feel like, man, I can't kick this thing out, right? And every time I kick it out, he floats the leg, and he doesn't let me do anything, right? And it's not working. So I do own this arm. So that hip can turn, but this guy can't, right? All his weight's on it. So I take my leg out, and I base, and I hold hard. Only problem I have with it, and I'm being very honest, you're pressing away down there, and you got wet grips up here. And now he's a big guy, and he's got cankles and ankles, and like you're trying to get around, and now you can't bite onto your own hand. You're gonna lose him. You know, but it does work. Okay, so I'm not opposed to it, but you're like this. Okay, but now this becomes a lot of strength mechanically because I'm pressing away down here. And now you're supposed to hold on to this arm. This is not gi. Early in a match, no problem, you probably could hold it. Super wet, probably could hold it also. And then you're gonna get certain people that'll do rash guard with t-shirt on top. And then they got like a t-shirt on top, and not too many people, there are people who do it, so I'll call you out on it. You do a t-shirt on top with the rash guard, and this t-shirt's slipping all over the place. You're not holding grips. You're not holding grips, right? So I'm like this, and I just push this leg. I did everything right. He put his hand here. So I go kick out, and now I'm here like this, okay? How this plays out, I don't know. I'm gonna say, don't worry about, put your hand down for a second. I'm gonna say the triangle from this point. Because when I kick out, he's gonna base with that leg. So I'm holding this position. I told you why I have an issue with this one. I'd rather play one percentages a different way, but you gotta know it. Because you're gonna be pulling on this, either a gi or you're gonna hold this arm, but you're pressing and pulling at the same time, hard grip to hold. This leg is gonna come out and shoot up into a triangle position. Okay, when you shoot it up, I'm gonna ask you to do it in the worst case scenario. You didn't go here, you didn't shoot this up, turn beautifully perpendicularly, grab like it. Dude, it doesn't work like that, okay? So you're like this, and you just shot this up, and all you do is put your feet on top of each other, and this is all you have, okay? You know what he's gonna do. He's been taught from the very beginning to base his hands on your sternum, right? Start getting vertical and start separating your legs like this. And now you're trying to reach up to his head, and you can't get there, and now he's starting to recover. Okay, so when you first shot it, right, you're like this. You first shot it, right? And now your feet are like this. I just told you what he wanted to do, okay? So before he gets there, my first reaction is to cup his head because I don't want him to go vertical, right? So I'm here pulling his head down because he's gonna try to stand up on me. And I don't want the top of his skull facing that mat. So I go into a tie clinch. My second reaction is I wanna be able to turn that line perpendicular. So I'm gonna ask you to do 3 things at this point. I just cupped his head so he doesn't go vertical and start doing this stuff where he starts making these frames between the two of us. And now he's vertical, and I can't get to the head, and I can't get by these arms, okay? So I'm like this, and all I had my feet was crossed. I'm gonna reach with my far side hand and grab onto my own shin, and I'm gonna hold this position. This is gonna be my triangle, okay? With my free leg, either it's gonna be off of him, or if I have to use it to rotate, I will. But I have to be able to hold this triangle, and if I've held it tight, Ethan will tell you this thing's gonna get tight, and he's gonna wanna tap before I even switch that leg. Once you switch the leg, okay, so I'm gonna ask you with your free leg to be able to adjust off of him, right? So that if I need to turn it perpendicular, I'm holding my triangle position with my hand and I'm not letting you stand up because I got the cup on the head, okay? My free leg now comes over the top and I cinch it. Okay, I will finish it. I know you're supposed to turn perpendicular, I get it, and that is correct. But you should be able to finish it from here down. And I see people doing all these things. They're like this on a triangle. Let me have the other one. They're like this on a triangle, right? And they're reaching for this arm and they're reaching for that leg and like, no, I'm gonna squeeze him and turn him and he's tapping because I'm right now doing this. I'm like this and I'm telling you to flare this. So if you look at it from different angles, as I flare this kneecap, this pocket gets closer. When I pull my knees together, the pocket gets closer. When I pull him in and arch my spine and bring him myself up to him, what am I doing? I'm sitting his arteries on the inside of my blades deeper. So I should be able to finish him without doing all these crazy things, reaching for the far side hand, coming under the shoulder, reaching for the far side leg. Now you should be able to finish him, man. You should be able to finish him. I will finish, like, this is what I had, boom. I'm locked up. Ethan will tell you before it ever turns, I turn this guy out, I squeeze tight my legs, and now Ethan will tell you as I press down, it gets insanely tight. Insane, sorry about that. Yeah, insanely tight. So because I want you to understand, the reason I brought all those little details up is because I want you to understand the mechanics of it. If you understand the mechanics, then you can problem solve it at that moment. But if you're just randomly going like, oh, I saw that on Instagram and I saw that one on YouTube and I'm trying to all these things, but you don't understand the mechanics of the move and why your partner is not chapping out. Why isn't he going out? Why is he not choking? What am I off on? Okay, so this one I'm gonna ask you, right? So you had a bunch of steps, 3 things that are minor, little minor details. You're like this and you come here. And now you're like this. And now he puts the base. So I come here. and I'm holding onto this hand because I'm gonna try to kick this leg out, but nothing happens. This is exactly what happened, okay? And I'm like, shit, I can't make this transfer. So I throw this triangle up, and I come here, boom. The moment I land this, you know what he's gonna do? He's gonna put those hands on my chest, so I grab onto his head before he can go vertical. And now what's the next thing I do? I reach for my own shin. Now I got a free leg to start adjusting. Do I need to adjust? Maybe I don't. Maybe I could just cinch this thing now. Now I'm on. Now what did I say? Out, leg comes out, kneecaps come together. Can you hold that for a little second? Okay, I'm sorry, man. I know it gets tight, right? So 1, 2, he's already ready to tap, and 3 is just lights out, right? Yeah, I know. Good. It is, yeah. So you understand why I'm emphasizing that V pocket, why I'm closing the gap, why I'm flaring my kneecap. I'm not doing these silly things and reaching everywhere under the moon to try to figure out why am I doing it wrong. This partner, and it grabs on. And now I go peel. Yeah, he just realized it. He saw his hair, right? So he comes like this. I know some people are getting confused on this hand grip. I would love to turn this thing over and own it like this. Almost like if I was in a bench press position and I was gonna focus on my triceps, and then this is a grip that they do. Or they'll do it for lower pectorals in bodybuilding. They'll do a grip instead of this, okay? This is stronger, but this is the grip I have. So I do wanna own the wrist. The reason I wanna own the wrist, because I don't know how it's gonna play out. I come like this on this peel, I wanna own this wrist, but he's gonna have a really hard time taking the wrist away, going vertical on me. But I wanna press it back, because he might pull it back. So if he pulls it back, I wanna be able to press it to his chest so I can take my legs out and start coming up and making the turn around him. So when you peel it, there's times to have thumb grips and there's times not to have. This thing, when I come over and I have no thumb grip, you're gonna hold this position. This is for Kimuras, false grip Kimuras, or that I have the Kimura going downwards and I'm cupped on a false grip on top, and I have the back of the mat to prevent the arm from coming out, but not on this. So you can't do this, right, with no thumb grip on the rotation and think that you're gonna hold his wrist like this. So when this thumb grip comes over on this turn, I'm here. This thumb grip should be on top of that wrist because I'm burying this back. I told you, if you go back to those videos and stuff, you don't know how this is gonna play out at the moment. Does he pull it back? Does he start to press on? You have no idea, okay? So just a minor adjustment for the people that aren't doing it. When I peel this guy over, I am not like this. Those are different grips, okay? On this grip, I need a top thumb grip. I only care about one thing, that reverse bench press to press it to his chest. What happens after, I don't know. If it pauses at this angle, so be it. Then I go into an arm drag. But I don't know how it's gonna play out. Let's do this second round of half before we add. Let's do it, guys. Bridging and putting it here. That's easy. That's like a gimme. No. Put your hand behind your back and latch onto your own hands. That one's harder, right? Okay, I'm here like this. And now just adjust it. And Nath will tell you before he's gonna go out, right? He's gonna go out. So that's the one I want you to do, because the other one, he's already killed his own artery with this side. This is a gimme. This is like, you don't even need the head at that point. You okay? Yeah, I know. Bad morning. Sorry about that. So I like it because I didn't even grab the head yet, and you can see Ethan's eyes and stuff. But I know the mechanics of the move, so I apply it. So I want you to be able to let the guy reach under. Let the guy reach under. Let him have all he wants. He wants to sit in that position and think he's safe. No, I should be able to put him out from that position. Okay, let's do it again. And we were going off of hand grips. And the particular hand grip that we left off on was that they touch my biceps. And they're trying to neutralize me. And what I'm trying to do is get inside. And I'm trying to dig inside. And then he's in this fight to either put frames inside my kneecap lines and then spin and alter and things like that. So the moment he touches me, like, I really want control of his hands, but he won't let me grab them. So he keeps touching my biceps because I want to throw him up in the air and see if I can elevate him, getting underneath, all these things I'd love to do. So the moment he touches my bicep, what I said, we're going to put his hand down so everybody can see. I'm going to curl this guy around, and I'm just going to grab on right at the wrist joint, okay? And all I was going to do was I was going to lean back and clear this hand. So what I'm looking to do is peel it and own it as a 2 behind 1. So I told you in the last class that I was gonna lean back a second, turn my angle of my shoulder, almost giving him almost a slight reverse cowhand so that I can clear this way. What happens after this, I don't know. Okay, does he pull back? Does he take this hand and frame it on my shoulder? I have no idea, I just have this hand. So for drilling purposes, the first 2 rounds are pretty simple. I'm fine with you doing either a press down, so I just showed you the one I want you to drill, but if you want to combo them up, you're fine. I'm fine with you pressing this down, shooting it through, pulling him hard through the pocket, and now I'm coming behind the back. That's how we left off. Or from this position, I get control of his wrist. The moment I grab onto his wrist, I peel aggressively, I'm 2 behind 1. On this one, you don't have much time. You're going to have to advance this hand position to a false grip behind that tricep quickly because the arm is straight, it's gonna rip back. Most of the times he's gonna take you with you. But for drill purposes, the moment you're here, you're transferring this hand over, you're false gripping, you're not releasing this wedge point. You're taking your leg out and you're coming right behind. That's all we're doing to this point, okay? So you're on for 90 seconds you're going left and right, especially for the people competing. Let's rock. If you forget, go on Happy Pill. Those videos were non-stop on how we get behind here, how we insert, how we recover, hip flips, everything. So you should be really kind of coordinated if you read long. If you haven't, if I see all messed up, I'll be yelling at you. You don't watch the Happy Pill. Okay, guys? So let's do it.